Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be yet again talking about Ethereum. Um, and as it inches closer to $3,000, I don't necessarily talk about the US dollar a lot um, for reasons that I feel like Bitcoin ratios are far more superior and helpful. But um, I understand the popularity of it, and I'll do my best going forward to try to include US dollar discussion within my videos. But for now, we're talking about Ethereum on its way to $3,000. Right now, it's currently trading just under $2,800 at 27.89. From where we are today to $3,000 requires an 8% move, a 9% move from Ethereum. Not that much. We are literally a sneeze away. And with the Bitcoin chart, Ether Bitcoin chart looking the way it is, looking very, very strong. Momentum is still on our side. Um, we inch closer to this band here. And essentially, it's once we get within this band, we're pretty much at $3,000. The total range is actually quite big because the um, one second, let me get the actual numbers here. Uh, the lowest band is 0.0522. Now, if we reach 0.0522 at the current price of Bitcoin, which is about $54,500, we're looking at a $2,844.90 Ethereum. However, if we look to the top of the chart, top of the band, which is closer to 0.06, it's actually 0.059, 706 and some change at the same price. We're looking at a $3,253 dollar Ethereum. So within this band is the $3,000 mark, which I think is an extremely big milestone for Ethereum. It is uh, pretty much double. I mean, at this point, I would say 2,800 is pretty significant as well, mainly because it is double. We have now doubled the prior all-time high. Finally, it seems like it took forever, relatively speaking, in comparison to Bitcoin, but we have now pretty much doubled our price from the prior all-time high. If you guys don't know, the prior all-time high was about $1,430, and so we've moved up 2x at this point. Now, where does this leave us? Well, we discussed that this potential band here will act as resistance, and we are nearing the sell target for myself. In fact, we actually passed it. And so at this point, I haven't sold yet, but I'm thinking of throwing, if it goes up any further, if he enters into the band, I'll be throwing a stop. Throw a stop on my next sell position, and then we just wait and see what happens. Um, I think this is probably the move, the next move for Ethereum. I really think it can make it to the band. Where it lands in the band, I don't know. Could be at the bottom, or it could be at the top. But I think somewhere in between, we'll see a rejection and a slight retracement and bleed for the next few months. Uh, so another reason why I think we're nearing some kind of resistance point is just looking at the systematic move of Ethereum against Bitcoin. It hasn't been a straight shot upwards, like other coins. It has been a bumpy road to say the least. And so when we look at, the from top to top, right? So when we look at these moves, we find the mini peaks of Ethereum, of the Ether Bitcoin chart, and we kind of measure it from the prior top to the new top, and we get this. So this move here was about 21%, 22%. This move here was 44%. This was the biggest one. In fact, I'll probably want to do it on the weekly. I think this would probably be better. Yeah, I didn't want to catch the wick. So let's readjust, and that's more of a 33% move. Um, from this top to this top, we're looking about an 18.5% move, and from this top to this top, we're looking at about a same kind of move. So we see the move from the peak to peak move of, you know, September 2020 to January. So this includes the January move of Bitcoin. We saw an 18.5% move. In shorter amount of time, we see the same kind of movement from the peak of January to right now. Um, so when we look at these four moves, right? These four moves are less than 50, obviously. The highest one being 33%. We saw 21, 33, 18, and now 18. So it can go, I would say it potentially could go as high as 33% or so, which brings us in the upper region of this band, right? But even at 22%, 21%, that brings us right to the bottom of the band. And this is what makes me think that a possibility of if Ethereum is to repeat itself, the last three moves, okay, the last three movements of Ethereum, and we're not accounting for time because we obviously when you look at these moves, they vary in length. This one here being the longest, and currently right now where we are is right now the shortest. Um, so the move that we're in could possibly take a little bit more time to find the peak, but um, if 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 uh, if history is to repeat itself or at least rhyme, this band here is going to be covering where the next Ethereum local top might be, and that's either at 0.059 to as low as 0.052. Now I understand Ethereum is not making the big moves that we thought it did or we thought it would do, right? We see moves like what we saw in 2017, and we see moves like we saw in 2015. It's just a straight up move in comparison to, say, even remove the drawings and you'll get to see even better. This move here doesn't look like this move or that move. So the question is, when is that move happening? Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say we'll even see those moves again. I'm pretty confident that we'll see these moves again, but it's just difficult to really understand and see. We could be in that move right now. If we, it's kind of hard to do, but we can do like trend angles as an experiment to see if I can find where. There we go. If we look at the current trend, that's a 75-degree move. If we look at this move here, it was an 83%. And this is just like I'm not basing this on anything, guys. I'm just looking at certain trend angles here. And so you see that the 2017 move, where it brought us to $1,400 in 2017, has a trend angle of about 77 degrees. The current one where the run that we're on right now is a 75-degree move, and the one in 2014, 2015 was an 83-degree move. Now, this could change, and I would gander this would change. If this is going to be the move that replicates that kind of rhymes with last cycle, then I don't think it'll keep up pace at 75 degrees. It might taper off a bit. In fact, um, this I there is also the possibility that this is the move, right? From January of 2020, this is the move that encapsulates this move here. It is slower, it is less volatile than this one, but we're making gains nonetheless. And that is another theory as well. I think I think that we'll see some kind of move like this, where you really see the liquidity from the altcoin market flow back into Ethereum. I just don't think we're there yet. Um, and I'm pretty confident that it will. We just don't know when it will happen. When we look at the start of these moves, these were all in January. Okay, they all started in January. The catalyst was in January, and currently, right now, we're in April. So that's another thing to keep in mind is timeline and a time frame. Um, Last January, we saw a move. We saw a 60-ish% move against Bitcoin, but we didn't see an impressive move like this. So I would contend, okay, if I were to paint a time frame, if this move is going to happen in 2022, um, which I know 2022 it seems very far from now, but let's look ahead. We're currently in the month of April. We're going into May. There is June, July, August, September, October, November, December. There's 8 months until the turn of the year. So we could see this play that we have been seeing for the past year and the year after a year before that to continue. These small systematic moves to the upside and then a bleed, a month long or 2 month long bleed, and then another rally. That could bring us to maybe two more bumps. Let's say if we're going to consider we're near the local top here and it will bleed sometime in the fall, or sorry, sometime in late summer, we might see another smaller resurgence. Following that, a bleed until January, and you could see it in examples like here in early summer or in the middle of summer, we saw a run, and then by fall we started to bleed. In September, we started to bleed, and it was only until the end of December, January 1st, when we saw the resurgence of Ethereum. Following that, another bleed until March, and here we are again in April, rallying again. We could bleed. We could bleed through May, through June, and by July, might see another resurgence again, or so on and so forth. So that could bring us to around fall. Sorry, to around January. And then in January, we could expect another impressive move by Bitcoin, but the jury is still out if it's going to be a 60% move ish, like which is still good. I'm not discounting 60%. I'll take 60%. But if it's going to be a 60% move or if it's going to be an insane move, maybe obviously not at the same percentage levels as last cycle and the cycle before that. I mean, if we just measure from the bottom to the top or even from here, we're looking at a 500% move from bottom to top here. From here is like a 600% move. If we count for everything, it's an 1800% move. But I think that would account we're looking too far ahead for that move. But even for here, it's 1700%. So I don't think we're going to be making those kinds of numbers, but numbers that are going to be impressive. I think like a 200, 300% move in a few weeks is going to be outstanding. It'll shock the crypto world, I think, as it has done in past cycles. It's everything's just relative. I don't think the volatility, the size of Ethereum does not lead me to believe that we're going to have a 1700% move in months, right? In a span of months, it just doesn't seem to make it just doesn't seem to add up. But um, going off of that thought experiment of we might potentially have two more runs until the bleed in the fall and then in a resurgence in the turn of the year. If we make an average gain, if we look back to the tops and the difference between the tops and kind of average it out to be about 22%, 25%, let's say the top was 33, let's say 20, 23% move. So from here to here, we're looking at a 23% move. Sorry, my mouse is kind of weird. 23% move, sure. And then from here for another 23%, we'd be looking at about a 0.065 Ethereum. So let's hold on, let me bring it back to like say, yeah, September. So say we come up, we bleed, we come up, we bleed again. I'll even make a line here. So say we go up to the top, we kind of bleed down, but we kind of resurge back up, and then we start bleeding down and down and down, and it's not looking good. And then in January, we come back up. I think that's highly possible, and I think that for me that makes sense. And then we can have targets beyond, I think at this point, at the turn of the year, this move, I mean, we can already see with the two moves before that, it breaks this band. So we should theoretically break this band by the end of the year if history is to repeat itself. If we're going to see these bumps, these humps, or small hills along the way, and it will the next two runs should break this band of 0.059 Bitcoin. And then by the turn of the year, we can look beyond this band, and most likely we'll be looking at valuations of 0.085, perhaps even 0.01. Sorry, zero point 0.1 Bitcoin. That is kind of like my top target. Again, I don't think we'll reach 0.14, but we'll see. But that's pretty much it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.